My name's David Zetolowski. I've been involved in combat sports for around about 14 years now. Kickboxing mainly now, but started off in professional MMA as well as unlicensed boxing, and have competed only once, but at Muay Thai as well. I currently run the kickboxing and striking classes in Surrey Martial Arts, which is also an affiliate of Carlson Gracie. Also teach out of Shin Kick Muay Thai, which is based in Guildford. But I grew up with this image of manly men, men being strong and tough. Might have gone a little bit too far the other way with it, but I always grew up with this image that a man should be strong, and I was raised around very strong men. I always knew I was going to compete at something. It was always thought that I was going to follow in my father's footsteps, because he was a very successful powerlifter, and he maybe could have gone further with his career, but he did very well in the time that he was doing it. So I started a gym in Purley, and it wasn't even throwing a punch that made me realise that I wanted to fight. It was the first time I ever got hit. The first time I got hit, something just clicked in my brain and was like, this is the thing that I've been looking for, and the thing that I wanted to do. And I think it was by the time I'd had my second fight, I gave up work and threw everything into being in the gym, into training, into learning. Even doing work at the gym just to make sure that I could fund doing that. And that was it. I just kind of lived it and breathed it since then. I love training kids. I probably enjoy, probably more so than sort of training the adults and stuff. With especially my own children, they're very grateful when they learn, and they try so hard. I think it's kind of, in my opinion, you have one of these kids that they do an inter-club and they'll cry halfway through the inter-club because they get hurt. And they'll get back up off the stool and they'll go out for that last round, and I think that speaks volumes. And you see a child doing that, and to watch a child have the strength to do that, which a lot of adults couldn't do that. If more children did it, it makes you less fearful. When you're less fearful, you're less likely to act with anger. When you're scared and you've got something to prove, you make silly decisions. You'll pick up a weapon. You'll start a fight with someone else for no reason. And you get someone about half your size and they beat the granny out of you with a pair of gloves on. I kind of realised how lucky I was that I hadn't bumped into the wrong person sooner, and it humbled me more than anything. It taught me a lot of humility, and I think that a lot of the time you'll see these amazing fighters, these great fighters, that are 10 times better than I could ever hope to be. But they're humble. You meet them and it's like they're exactly the same as you. They don't try and be anything else. And I think that humility is learnt through fighting. I think with most fighters that have gone into it, I think if you ask them what they would be doing if they weren't doing this, a lot of them would say they'd be getting into trouble. They'd be doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So there's a big humility that I feel that I learned from it. Having much more of a mental strength, and it can be taught to you in silly little ways. My daughter's helped now teaching the kids class, so me doing what I've done has enabled me to teach my kids, who can now teach other kids, and seeing them now they're in a role of responsibilities. And you'll see it when a new kid will come in and they don't really know what they're doing, and another kid helps them out, and it's beautiful to see, because now these other kids are helping these other kids, and they're all learning together and stuff. And I think that's and I think it helps you to learn, because you want to be good. You want to be part of that team rather than detrimental for you to be there. So I feel that it's almost like it will help you along to learn. But there should be more women in the sport. My wife's a perfect example. She was an accountant that came along to try a fitness class because she wanted to get sweaty and do a class, and now she's British champion. That's
London Fire Brigade for the last 20 years, 21 years now. Involved in the fight game for the last 30.
Yeah.
Previous fighter, stopped fighting and found my place in officiating. So now I spend most of my weekends refereeing shows. So it was actually my coach at Thai boxing, my head coach. He London firefighter himself. He suggested to have a look, and that was it. Next minute I'm in as well. my coach, Mark Murphy, working Thai boxing. I remember clear as day him saying to me, right, London Fire Brigade. He was a London firefighter at Tooting.
Yeah.
And he said, London Fire Brigade are recruiting. And he actually told me to tell one of my friends who's been very vocal about joining the brigade. And I remember thinking, yeah, I'll tell him, but that actually sounds all right. I'm going to give that a go as well. So I called the line, I got the application form, filled it in, and next minute I'm in training school. I don't think anyone expected the strength of that community in West London. No one really expected the togetherness that community has portrayed and has shown since 5 years ago. And I've been absolutely honoured to have been welcomed into that community as well, which means more than anything to me. From the night of the fire itself, doors were open, people came out and supported and helped each other from that very night, and that is so important. I've gained friends and relationships with people in the community as well. I've been welcomed into it. I've been supported, and the way we support each other and help each other through this ongoing process is beautiful. It really is beautiful, and it's everyone from all walks of life based around that West London community has just dug in together, and it's been an honour to be part of it. Everyone's going through their own battle, their own personal battle. Everyone's suffering their own demons and on their own journey, but you wouldn't be able to do it on your own. It's being around the estate, it's being around the people on the estate that are suffering as well. That's what gives us strength, that's what pulls us together. And just like I said, just being for the silent walks, for example, and the anniversaries, just being with a group of people who are all, like I said, having their own battles and their own sufferings. I suffer my own guilt. I suffer my own, I could have done more, should have done more. Even though a sensible head will tell me, no, you didn't, you did everything you could, I will still battle against that in my own head, and that's still a daily battle that I've got. But just being part of a team, being part of a group of people with the same vision and the same drive, whether you fight or not, just being part of that family, when you step through the doors of that gym, you will all gain immense things from it. And that is what brings us all together, because we've all got these things to pass on and give to other people, and we need to do it. I felt open. I don't know feeling open. I don't know feeling vulnerable. I come from an era of where men shield and mask their issues, their problems, their uncomfortable feelings. We can't let that be shown.
No.
It's our job to hide that and meet the world with your chin up and your shoulders back. So that is my default, that is my go-to, that is my way. But these last 5 years have taught me that it isn't necessarily the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And I found myself in dark times, dark places, which have left me needing help. And it's taught me that it's not anything to be ashamed of, it's not anything to be frowned upon, that we all need help at some point, different levels, for different reasons, and there's no shame in asking for it. And in community, I don't just mean where you live, I mean your fight community, your obviously where you live, your work community, your friend base. You can't, I understand I can't control a lot that goes on, but I can in my world, in my bubble I can. So as long as I try and leave a positive influence, outcome, meeting with the people who I come across and the people who I mix with, then I'm doing my bit. I'm doing the best I can. As long as I'm teaching my son right from wrong and teaching him the same things, that he has to fight for what he believes is right, and to make sure he leaves everyone he meets with a smile, and just be that positive person in your bit. You're doing your part, you're playing your part then, aren't you?
Yeah.
I currently hold the ISK World title 59 kilos, ISK European title 57 kilos, ISK British title 55 kilos, and the WBC British title, 59 kilos. So like from like the Addingtons like area in Croydon, it's like big estate basically. Like it's not the nicest area, so like my dad always wanted me to be able to defend myself and stuff like. So you know, like for me like at the ages that people were like experimenting, like going out, drinking, smoking, getting into like going down the wrong path and stuff. Like this kept me like mentally focused. Like that, like after school I go training, then I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I want to go eat. I want to go shower. I want to go sleep. Like so, it kind of gave me that like structure in my life.
Yeah.
That like I wasn't able to like miss laps and like not like miss laps, but like go down the wrong path. Like, cause like all my friends are like people like don't believe me when I say like I've never tried a drug, I've never done a fag, like I've literally I'm like teetotal. First alcohol drink was when I was 21 years old.
Are you serious?
21 years old was my first alcohol drink, and that's just like I don't want to put like rubbish into my body because like it affects my training.
Yeah.
If I eat rubbish, the next day I feel rubbish, so I train rubbish, and that's like kept me focused like, and I haven't had no problems with like drink. Also like got quite addictive personality, so like I had like friends that was like on a different path. They was able to get in trouble. Like one of my best friends at the time, he like kicked out of his house and stuff like. So we give him like I wouldn't see my friends on the street. So like I spoke to my mum, can he stay at our house? Blah blah blah. And he was around like the wrong group, and then like police basically targeted us as like a whole group like. And I ended up going in prison for 2 years for it, and now I'm like in the process of like appealing my conviction and stuff like that, like showing my innocence. But like at the time, like it was like devastating. Like I was 12 days away from a world title, training 2-3 times a day. Like my career felt like it was actually like getting good, and then like it was taken away just from being like targeted around the wrong people. Since I come out. Just over a year ago now, like I've won a world title, won a WBC British title, fighting for a WBC European title. So like I've been able, even though like I've had such a setback, 2 years of no training and stuff, like I'm still able to like move forward and turn my life around. So the whole time like I was in prison, like I was missing training like a lot, and like I'm like I think as a fighter like I'm quite competitive anyway.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, oh, what's my competitors doing? Like they're training, they're doing this, they're doing that. So like it's gave me like an extra hunger, like I need to catch up.
Yeah.
Like I've just missed 2 years. My aim is to like, obviously this fight I got WBC European title. After that I'll be looking for the WBC world title. And then rather collecting more world titles or like getting on like the big stage 1 championship and fighting on there and showing my skills worldwide on a bigger platform.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and like creating a living for like my child through fighting. That and it's not so much the money for me, it's more like the legacy, like fighting, and like my daughter can look and like look what my dad's done. I'd like to show people like even like I had 2 years of like negative impact on my life, you're able to come back. Like you don't have to like then let that spiral like out of control. Like okay, I've gone prison, but I could have come out, reoffended, gone prison, and just carried on that cycle. Instead I was able to come out and switch up and like get motivated into something positive, and you're able to change your life.
Yeah.
Like no matter what background you come from, I come from Council Estate in Croydon.
Yeah.
Went prison and still able to come out, win world titles, fight for WBC titles, like fighting best people in the world. My world title didn't come over like 12-week camp. My world title come after 12 years of dedication to the sport. So like if you look at how much years I put in to get where I am, like if you put the same amount of years, the same amount of effort into anything that someone like you want to do, you're going to succeed in it.
So I'm Katie Zetolowski from Red Hill. So I fight at 21st Century Combat Gym, which is the gym me and my husband set up, and Shin Kick Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And I currently hold the MTGP British title for minus 59 females. Yeah, I do a 9 to 5 job. I say that it's quite flexible. My office isn't that far away, so I do work from home sometimes, work in the office. So training comes before work, after work. Sometimes I might go and train in my lunch break. Yeah, I just work around
That's
when
amazing.
I have work to do. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that fight do like work in the gym and use it as a career to teach people. We do have, my husband does it, runs a gym and obviously teaches people, but before I did any of the sport, I qualified and did my accountancy work, so I've always stuck it because that was my career.
Yeah.
So this was all started off as more of a hobby, so I would always keep my career working, doing what I do for work, and this comes on top, so
Yeah.
I have to work it around, going to work, the kids, normal day-to-day stuff. Yeah, I do notice that when, after I finish like a fight camp and I go back to normal life, where I'm not training like 2-3 hours a day, that I'm like, oh, I've actually got some time to do like other stuff.
Yeah.
Things like go food shopping, or I don't know, go and meet your friends for coffee and stuff like that. So I think sometimes the training does take over, and then I feel a bit guilty on the kids sometimes after
Yeah.
I've done a big fight camp. But it's not going to last forever. And they're all, our gym's quite family orientated.
Yeah.
So the kids all come, they all do the kids' classes and train and stuff. And I think I have to remember to make more time for them and other things when I've stopped having an intense training schedule, to then go back and make sure that some of the time's spent with them. And doing normal things like going for a coffee or going to eat with your friends and stuff. I always say I mean, some people don't enjoy training. I enjoy the training. I like being fit. Enjoy training in a sport, but I'm in one of those weird people who likes going for a run. My husband says I'm an absolute weirdo. Yeah. But I do enjoy doing stuff like that. If I could eat anything I wanted and do the training and fight, I'd fight every week. But it's the restriction on food. It makes you so miserable. Yeah, I think I'm just really competitive. It's a bit weird in with the women's, like you either get amateur level and there doesn't seem to be anything in between. So you can start out the sport and you do it for a bit of like of fun and a bit of competitiveness, and then there doesn't seem to, like, the men can sort of climb up, but women, there's like, you're either here or you've got to take that jump, and it's like one level, or you've got to take that jump to fight in. There's no like people in between. Like my husband, he coaches all day and he's literally wrapped around it 24/7, whereas I go to work and I do my normal thing, and then I dip. It's not like I dip in and out because it is quite consuming, but because it's not how I make my living, it becomes that it's like a hobby. So when I'm going and I'm sorting out the show, I mean, it is very stressful, but it's also fun, and it's not. Whereas my husband's like all day, every day, and he has no escape from it. So then I can put like a bit more thought into it, because it's not what I'm doing to put food on my table, or because that's what I go to work to do. It is quite scary, but then I don't know, you walk in some places, a lot of the guys aren't as bad as you think they are, and I don't know, a lot of the girls that come to our gym, I'm like, you're probably better than most of the lads there anyway. Like, most of them, you know, you see all these men coming in and doing a sport and they're unfit, then they're not great, they're not going to be better than you. You might think, oh, because a man's stronger or this, or I don't know, he seems a bit more aggressive, but half of them aren't really. And if you put your efforts into it, I think you can be better than most of them anyway. Half of the girls that I train are so much better than any of the guys, and they pick it up quicker anyway.
I should have mentioned, about a year before my accident, I'd attempted suicide, and I think that was because you were saying, you know, that how well I got on with everything after. And I can't remember if it was the day before or 2 days before, the psychiatrist had told me to stop riding my bike. That they put me on this new medication. I hadn't been taking most of it. I didn't tell them that anyway, but I'd been like, I'd been suffering like panic attacks and stuff when I was riding my bike, and I was just like in a really, really terrible place, and I had my crash. And he'd said the day before, like I was going to give him my keys as well. He was like, I was saying, I can't even remember who it was, but I was going to give him the keys to my bike, and then didn't. So when I say like the accident, like it really like just shifted my mindset into a really depressive place, like off the rails, and like I was abusing a lot of stuff just because it made, not from a good place, you know, it wasn't just like pure party, and I was just being reckless because I lost value for my life, I think, like even after the suicide attempts and stuff, and I think it was the crash that had just put everything
in perspective.
Yeah, it really did, and like I stopped caring about all the little things, and I just realised like then just how fragile everything is and can be. And for example, for me with my leg, again, like I'm very like confident in myself, whatever, but I've had people say, "God, I'd kill myself if that had happened to me."
Oh my God.
And they don't realise the power of their words, and I always think of like, I'm fine to, you know, like I don't really mind what most people say unless they're someone really close to me, but I always think of like a kid hearing that, of a kid that's like brought up with a disability or something, and hearing that over and over again in his life, where people say things like that. I think
it's not intentional, however, but I do feel like it aligns with my my character, so to speak. Aesthetically, I could come across quite, you know, to me, like as a powerful big guy, but yeah, underneath I'm soft, gentle giant. You know, I'll rather laugh. I'll rather lead with a smile than a grimace or a straight face, if you know what I mean. So that's more what I like to lead with. So I'm happy the picture kind of grabbed that. You know, obviously massive guy, but it's kind of like a softness to him. So it's not something that I would say that I actively worked on, but definitely taking myself out of my comfort zone, stepping out the shadows, so to speak. I've had to kind of show confidence. Speaking in front of crowds, photos, never been my thing. However, it seems like I'm doing a lot more of it now. Do you know what I mean? But it's for me, it's beautiful because every time I see it, it represents growth. I feel naturally it's my nature. And it's kind of like, as I said, colourful background. You develop morals, you develop, you know, things that you align yourself with, and I feel like the positives that I've taken from that background has kind of helped me, you know, stand on those morals and, so to speak, and try to create my environment to align with that also. So whether it means I see something wrong and I highlight it and I bring the two parties together and we sort out the issue or whatnot, it's just a way of navigating life, I see. And it's much more peaceful, and everyone's happy. It sounds cliche, but everyone wants everyone to be happy. You want everyone to be comfortable around you. So yeah, that's just kind of my summary. It's just kind of living stress-free and everyone being happy. Honestly, genuinely, as corny as it sounds, but that's generally my motive, and yeah, that's just where I'm at in life. But for me, it kind of goes back to my past, if I'm totally honest with you, because even in part of even having a colourful past, we keep addressing it like that, but having a colourful past, a lot of the people that helped me navigate, whether it was positive or negative, they always kind of steered me away from the gang culture, which is, you know, frowned upon because it's groups of people, quote unquote, causing problems and whatnot. Whatever your take may be on it, it might be just a group of friends, but there is negative connotations to being in a gang. It's always been part of me that gangs are not really needed. However, you still have to be like a, you know, upstanding man of morals. Don't be a pushover, so to speak. But you can use that to kind of, I've used that to say, yo, we've all got our history, but even though you're from over there and I'm from over here, we're actually the same. We have a lot in common, a lot of lines. And imagine the positive damage, so to speak, we could do if we put our minds together. So that's kind of where my mind is at. Using our intelligent minds to kind of go against each other is pointless. It's not going to get us anywhere. And I've seen just in my little life, how coming together with someone from the opposition has created such a beautiful story. And a story that for me, it's got to be documented at some point. So yeah, I look forward to, because it's ongoing still, I look forward to where it will end up in the next few years. People from your same background, people from the same struggles, just seeing any form of breakthrough, any form of win for me warms my heart, because it's you. It could be you, it could be me. The win for them is a win for us, because I know just from my nature or of how I've been brought up, if I do well and become very successful in what I'm going to do, it's only natural I'd want to give back. So seeing someone else in my position win in their field, they only naturally want to give back. Not everybody's going to like the same thing. I might give back in fighting. Someone else might give back in football. Someone else might give back in reading, writing, poetry, music. There's so many avenues that watching your peer win could affect the future. So we're all basically on this journey, but as long as we don't forget where we come from, that's why I'm happy about seeing other people win, really.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Silvano and I'm 26 now, and I've been in London since 2019, so almost 4 years. And I started doing K1 and Muay Thai when I was 15 more or less, and I've always been passionate about martial arts and fighting, and so I just started to do this sport for fitness and just to see, because I had no idea what it was before, Muay Thai. And then I started competing right away, after probably 6 months. And I didn't enjoy it because I got beat up so bad. And then I kept going though, because I had a very good coach and he helped me, and he used to tell me every time, don't give up, just keep going. And from there, my thought at the beginning was just doing a few inter-club, in Italy we have light contact, so it's controlled fight, even if they're not really controlled. And then slowly I started doing amateur, and then in my head, okay, I want to try with no protections, and then okay, I want to become pro, and now always going on, I want to always more, and I want to reach a higher level every time. So what brought me to London, I came here just because I wanted to learn English first of all, so I really like the language. And then I actually wanted to stop fighting, because I wanted to have a break. I had 2 years break from fighting. I just came here to find a job and probably just training. And then I used to play drums, so I've been playing for a bit in London as well. And then just after 1 year I was here, I just went straight back to my to a gym and started training again. Yeah, I'm in Moorgate, so I travel from Five City Gym, which is the main gym is in Moorgate, but they have a branch in Balham as well. I trained there. Before that I was training by myself, so I was training in gym box and I was doing my own stuff. Then I decided to go back fighting again, and I needed a coach. So I went to a few gyms around, I think I went to Bloodline and other few gyms. And then, when I met the coach, Leon, I just liked the connection we had at the beginning. So he was very open to me, and he was kind and everything. So I think I have this thing, when I speak to a person, I understand right away if I like the energy that flows between us. So I really like this guy, and I started training, and then I said, okay, I want to fight. Yeah, she's my beautiful woman, Elia. And she's a fighter too, and we're happy together now. We do the same job, the same sport, and Yeah, since the beginning. So I met her in Balam or Morgate, some of the two gyms, and because she teaches there 1 or 2 classes. I just was love at first sight. Yeah, because I remember this photo as well, and because I went to check on Instagram because I was meant to cover one of her classes, and I saw these photos of her. I said, "Oh, she does Muay Thai. She's so beautiful. I need to meet her." And then eventually we meet.